Hey y'all, how you perking? I hope you're perking good. So, highly requested video here from all of y'all. Everyone is wanting me to take a look at this. I had to write his name down. David Grusch. Is that how you pronounce his last name? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Not trying to be disrespectful here. But the David Grusch interview, where he divulged information about possible ETs or non-human beings of sorts or something along those lines, and y'all had questions. Y'all had a lot of questions. I wrote them down on the sticky note here, which was a grocery list back here, and now it's a note. It's actually not a sticky note. It is it's a ripped out piece of paper from my grocery list, but it is now containing notes, okay, about this David Grusch video. So y'all were wondering, is he telling the truth or is he lying? What are the reasons behind being a whistleblower on this? Like, why did he want to blow the whistle on this, so to speak? What are these beings? What beings do the U.S. Does the U.S. know about? Like, are there types or categories of beings that the U.S. knows about versus doesn't know about? And someone said that during his interview, he alluded to like scary or bad things happening, like as if any of these things have harmed humans before, that he may have alluded to that. And they want to know, are these things bad? Are they something to be scared of? Is what's going on with that part of his interview, and then basically what is going to happen now in terms of, does this lead us into an era where people are starting to kind of be more open to this type of thing? Does this lead us down a road where our governments will be more open to this kind of thing, more forthcoming with some disclosure and information? People want to know. We had a ton of questions here. We'll see how many of these questions that I can get through here today. If we need to make a second video on this and put it on the Perk Squad for Perk Squad Extended, we will do that, but I will try to get through as much of this as we can right now. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'm a licensed mental health clinician as well as a spiritual intuitive, and in these videos we take a look at the tea with the tarot to find out some answers, and we have a pretty good track record here on the channel. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the cards and move this microphone right here. Penelope in her yellows, trying to match my "Love You Mean It" shirt. So I'm trying to pull the orange in from the shirt. She's pulling the yellows in from the shirt. Today just felt like it should be a colorful day. As I'm filming this, it is Friday, June 16th at 1:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So just feels like a sunny and love you mean it type of day. So here we are. Alrighty, let's get shuffled up here and dig right on into this. Let's just jump into it. See what in the hell we can find out. And I imagine the first question will literally be the first question that I have written here about whether this guy is telling the truth or lying, because if he's lying, then all these other questions that I have written down here are going to have to be tweaked and changed to make sense to the fact that he's fibbing, if that's the case. Because all of these questions I have written down are kind of lining up with, in case he's telling the truth, then we want to know about these other things. So we'll figure that out. As I'm getting shuffled up here, all alleged, just my interpretation, okay? All alleged, just my interpretation, y'all. That's always the case on all of these videos. So, is David Grusch, and I really should have looked up the pronunciation of his last name because I might be saying it wrong this whole time. I'm sorry. Is David, we'll just keep it there, telling the truth about this stuff? Is he being honest here in his interview. So let's see what we've got here. Interesting. Okay, what I find especially interesting here, just getting started, not even drawing any other context or anything, is that I don't have any swords cards. And usually swords cards, whether they're coming up in the upright position or the reverse position, really helps you know 100% guaranteed, are we talking truth upright or are we talking lies reverse? And we don't get that here at all. And that's interesting that I'm not getting either, because then that means directly speaking, I am not getting absolute truths or absolute lies from what he's saying, which is interesting. That is a layer that I didn't know to expect. Here we are, like 6 minutes into this video, and we're already at a weird, unexpected point in the tarot reading. We haven't even hardly got started yet. So, if I had, okay. Let's get into this then. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, what that means is, if you see this Six of Pentacles, this is in the upright position, someone feeding people information. It's in the reverse. So it's saying that he's not feeding us information directly. He's feeding us information on what he's heard. It's like hearsay. It's like the grapevine. I heard it through the grapevine, you know, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, that already, it's indirect. So if we're saying this is indirect, how can he tell us the absolute truth or the absolute lie on something he does not have direct knowledge about? You don't do that. It doesn't work like that. You can say, to the best of my knowledge, I think that this is true, or to the best of my knowledge, I think that this is probably a lie. But if you don't even have firsthand knowledge, what do you really have, kind of thing? And so indirect knowledge, you know, we'll put it in quotes until we kind of find out more stuff. Both of these cards are like, fuck it, let's go kind of cards. So the Knight of Wands being a bit on the impulsive side, and the Fool being a little bit on the, you know what, let's just take the leap, something will catch my fall, this will be a trust fall right now, let me just give it a go. But both of them together, fuck it, let's go. So with whatever he got, he must have believed it enough that he felt like, let's go. Does that mean he knows this to be true? No. It just means he believes it enough to be true that he said, let's go. That's a big difference. And there, it's interesting that just here on this first row, on the first set of cards we've drawn, they're already delineating this difference. Apparently, somewhere in this reading, this is going to come out, and it's going to make sense as to why they wanted to start out this way. Because for whatever reason, this is how we need to start this reading, is making sure we understand the difference between this directness versus indirectness in terms of gathering the truth. So, very interesting start. Did not expect it to kind of go down this way. Interesting. Again, all alleged is my interpretation. Bottom row here, got Queen of Wands up right here, Knight of Cups up right here, and a Knight of Pentacles in reverse. These are people that are readily giving information. This is someone who is hesitantly or reticently giving information. And so I do see, you know, multiple sources. Somebody said that he's like, oh, he's got a lot of people talking to him on this, a lot of sources. By the way, I don't know who did this interview, so I am not privy to the interview, but I am going off of all the questions I've gotten, and people described what he talked about on the interview, so I'm going off of that. You know, as usual, if I say something that's already stated or already known, sorry, that's what that's what happens. It's, you know, occupational hazard of going in something quasi-blind. I'm not 100% blind to this because people did, in asking me these questions, give me some context around their questions, but I am quasi-blind to this in that I don't know when and where exactly this interview happened, and so I was not tuning into that when it went down. But apparently, if he says he has multiple sources, I do see that to be true. I see some of the sources to be more forthcoming, some of the sources to be more hesitant about it. Like, I don't want to be forthcoming because if you say something and slip up where I can be identified, I don't want to get screwed over because you said something. So the way that this guy is kind of giving me is kind of like in therapy, because again, licensed mental health clinician, when we're talking about privacy and confidentiality, we don't just mean, hey, don't say the client or patient's name or date of birth, you know, their PII and PHI. Don't just omit that. You might have to omit more, because as an example, say I'm at work and I'm talking to my coworkers and I'm trying to tell them something that happened with, like, you know, gossip about my boss and their family or something like that. And I said something like, well, you know, someone in upper management whose, you know, wife works at such and such, their son is doing this, blah, 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 blah. Well, I didn't say any kind of names in that. But if they work there and they know the upper management person whose wife works at this certain place, they know, oh yeah, Mark's wife is the one who works at Publix. Oh, so they're talking about their son. Oh, whoa, their son did what now? People can take the little tidbits of information that I put together out there and identify who I'm speaking about, even if I did not use any identifying information. They can get to that. And so that's kind of what this is getting at. Like, this person or people here that this card represents are the people that are like, hey, I'm not sure I want to tell you stuff, because even if you don't say me and my job role and my name and whatever, you might say something within what I've told you where people would know I'm the only one that would know that. I'm the only one that spoke to you that would know that information, and it can come back around to me, and I don't like that. So there's some kind of a fear from this person or people here about information getting back to them, that's a problem. And so that adds another layer of complexity in this, again, about being truth or not truth, direct versus indirect. So already out the gate, we've got some stipulations on if this is truth or lies. What we know is that this David guy is like, fuck it, let's go. So he does believe what he's saying to be truth. So we already know that he does believe this to be true. So from what I'm seeing here, is not consciously lying about any of this. But can he trust the information that he's received to be true? I am not entirely sure yet, based on how they laid out these cards, and that's tricky. So I'm going to, I'm going to pull these up, reshuffle them back into the deck. We're going to start asking some more of these questions and see where this takes us, because that is an interesting start out the gate. Dang. Okay, so reason behind whistleblowing is what I have next on this list. Why do this? Why have this interview? Why blow the whistle on this? Why speak up? And again, I don't know if I mean, I imagine he was probably asked that in the interview, so I don't know if what I'm going to draw here would match what he said if he spoke to that, but it'll be interesting if it does or does not match, because that would be interesting. If it does match, it'll be like, see, well then, wow, that is why he's blowing the whistle. If it doesn't match, it'd be like, he said he's doing it for this reason, but they're showing he's doing it for this reason. Interesting. So, I am going to hunt down that interview and watch it after this, if it's still available online. I don't know if this is something that got taken down or if it's still available. I don't even know, but I'll see. Anywho, what's the reason? Why is he doing this? Oh. Huh. Okay. All right. We'll go with this. First things first, we've got a walking away card. So he's doing this because he has walked away. He has left. He is no longer in this. He is separated from this some type of way. I don't know if he left because he chose to leave or if he left because he was like fired or let go. I don't know. But this is showing him separating himself from whatever that line of work was that he was doing. There's some kind of a financial thing here. I don't know. I'm not saying he's in something for money or trying to get money or whatever, because I don't know if that's the case. It may not be about him trying to get money. I don't know. But there is some kind of a financial something about this. There's something financially happening or has happened financially around this scenario that he knows about, and that has a part of why he wants to say what he's got to say here, and put that out there. So I don't know if he wants money for himself, wants money for something else, thinks that other people have like maybe done things for profit or mismanaged money in a way that he doesn't like or something like that. But there is some sort of financial component that I'm seeing here. So that is interesting. It's not the only component that I'm seeing here. I'm seeing three other very kind of loud things. One being the Judgment card is in reverse. So he thinks that these people, I guess, who are not blowing a whistle, not speaking, not talking about this, he thinks those people are using bad judgment. Judgment card in reverse. He thinks that whatever it is that they're doing, that's in poor judgment, and so he is judging them, ironically, for that choice. So it bothers him. He's annoyed or angry about that some kind of way. Seven of Swords in reverse. This is somebody that this is ooh. All right. I'm not trying to be mean when I say this, because what reason would I have to be mean? But the Seven of Swords in reverse is usually like kind of an imposter syndrome card. It's somebody that feels a little bit insecure about things. And so I don't know what he presents himself as or how he, shows things to the world, but it seems internally he feels like he hasn't been seen and heard enough, and that, maybe he hasn't gained the level of significance that he feels like he should have, or people don't recognize what he feels like he could bring to the table. Like, he's probably wanting people to see him as like important and smart and, full of knowledge and full of value and asset to whatever kind of line of work that he does here around this stuff. And it looks like he feels people don't see him that way. and that bothers him. And so part of doing this gives him purpose, gives him power, gives him the visibility and significance and, to his perception, value that he felt like he was missing. And so some people would consider this card a bit of a selfish card. Some people are like, you know what? It's not selfish if what you're doing is for the greater good. So maybe if you think what he's doing is for the greater good, you don't see it as selfish. Maybe if you see this as internally like a weakness based in insecurity, you might be like, oh man, it's little man syndrome, or whatever. So I'll let y'all have your opinions on that and however you think. I'm just saying, I see the card here, and so I say what I see. I don't squeeze things out of the cards that don't present themselves, but if I see something, I say something. So just putting that out there, and like I said, I'm not trying to be mean to the man. I don't know him. I don't know my ass from my elbow, honestly. So whatever. Over here though, Page of Pentacles in reverse. This, y'all know, in a lot of these things comes up as evidence. With this coming up in reverse, it's a lack of evidence. And so part of his reason for whistleblowing is he feels like there is a lack of some sort of evidence, and he's hoping that by doing this and alerting people and bringing attention to things, that more eyes will come on this and there will be more incentive and motivation to look into it and to bring forth evidence. And so he does want some sort of disclosure. He does want this stuff to come out, and he thinks that if he does this, it might kind of stoke the fires a little bit and kind of agitate the waters, and people will start speaking out, being like, yeah, it is about high time we know about this. Stop hiding, come on. And that he's hoping that he would be spearheading this trendsetter thing where now all these people fall behind him in support of him to amplify his voice and get this, put pressure to get this stuff out here. So he's really thinking he could be doing something here, and maybe he could be. I'm not saying that to belittle him, to be like, oh, he thinks he's doing something. No, he could be doing something. I don't know. He does think he's doing something. He does hope he's doing something, and maybe he really is doing something. So I ain't gonna take that away from him. Maybe it's happening. Maybe it's happening. I just have a little bit of caution because of some of the stuff we saw earlier about indirect knowledge, meaning that you can believe it wholeheartedly as truth, but is it though? I don't know. All alleged, just my interpretation, y'all, remember? So, interesting. Let's dig into another one of these questions here, why don't we? Because this is just the plot thickens, right? The plot thickens. Let's dig into some more shit. So as I am shuffling up and I'm looking down at the clock, seeing that we are getting really close to 25 minutes in, we will do more questions here, but then there will be a second video for Perk Squad members, Perk Squad Extended. So if you'd like to see the second video that will happen later, and again, we're going to do more here, once we're done here and we go to hop on over there, if you want to see that, then just click on the blue join button below later at that time, or the link in the description box can also take you there to help you become a member of the Perk Squad for extra perks like extended videos, your exclusive videos, exclusive posts, weekly forecasts to see what's going on. You get your own Penelopes, you get your cute little emojis, all kinds of stuff over there in the Perk Squad if you would like, and shout outs like this. So shout out to you, Preston Norris, and thank you for being a member of the Perk Squad. You've been a member of the Percolator family for a very long time. I've seen you, Preston, so thank you for being a member of the Perk Squad now, Preston. Shout out to Preston Norris, and thank you. Thank you. So if y'all want to go over there, y'all can. But first, The next question I have here, what are all the beings that the U.S. knows about? Like, what do they know exists? The government here, like, what do they know exists? And so that might start to help tease apart some of the information that we were looking at from the very beginning of this about truth from false, fact from fiction. So, yeah, straight out we'll ask, what does the U.S. government know about? Well, obviously something there. Look at that shit. Starting out with the Lover's card. Wow. Okay. Oh. Okay. Again, just saying what I see, going with what I'm given, so just my interpretation. So what we're looking at, they do obviously know about something. The Lover's card's coming up here. On the Lover's card, we've got two things to look at here. One, with the Lovers, this is like two people here on the card that are coming together. It is some sort of like partnering up, some sort of a relationship. And so it does look like they have some sort of partnership, some sort of relationship with some sort of entities. So I don't even know if that was something that was said. Again, when I'm asking this, I'm asking, what does the U.S. know about? This question is kind of a standalone question from the interview. Like, this question isn't asking what David Grusch or whatever his name is said, or what the sources told him. This is just asking in general, irrespective of that interview, what does the U.S. government know about? So I don't know if any of what I'm about to say came up in the interview or not, because this is separate from that kind of, but apparently the U.S. is in some sort of like collaboration in some sort of way with other entities. So I know that sounds out there. If y'all clicked on this video that's kind of alien-esque from the get-go and watching me read cards, I imagine you are somewhat settled in your spirit with the idea of things that are a little bit out there, okay? So if you're wanting to be like, what the fuck, that sounds so that's too out there, I would implore you to realize you did click on a video about ETs with a tarot reader. So you did sign up for this when you clicked in here. All right. So I'm just going to put that out there. It's a strange place to draw the line in the sand if that's where you're going to get your panties in a wad. So putting that out there. Apparently there's some sort of, English, some sort of thing, type of thing. I wanted to say some type, and it came out all kinds of ways. Type of relationship or collaboration there. I don't know that means it's like Men in Black movies, or if it means some secret nefarious whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, yeah, they're aware of stuff, and there is something that they're actually like communicating about in some sort of like, I'll talk to y'all some sort of way, y'all talk to us some sort of way, or work with y'all some sort of way, y'all work with us some sort of way. There is some sort of relationship. It may not be super close, just like we in our country have relationships with other countries around the world. That doesn't necessarily mean we're all like besties and stuff. It's just some sort of we got to communicate and acknowledge each other every once in a while for some shit. Okay. Making sure that everybody's feeling comfortable with everybody's boundaries and autonomy and all that stuff. And so it could be something like that. I don't know. But there is something there that's worth coming out. The second thing I notice about this card is this angel up here, and how there is also an angel there. I would not have brought that up. I would not have even mentioned it from the cards, considering that goes into religiosity. And as a tarot reader, I'm not even coming at this from a place that's religious. I'm coming from a super spiritual place, but I've not once on this channel come from a dogmatic religious place. And I know that as you speak about things like that, people start to get worried about religion, and they get repelled. I wouldn't have even brought it up if it weren't for the fact that we've got two here, back to back, side to side, two angel beings on these cards. So it looks like if there are like higher beings that we might refer to as angels, I don't know if that's what they are. I don't know if they're just higher some other kind of way. Like, you know, light beings are supposed to be, you know, beyond our dimension. Like if we're, you know, everybody's always talking about 3D, 4D, 5D, you know, whatever. If we're like on this 3D thing and there's supposed to be bigger dimensions, you know, broader and higher vibe and purer, wider light and yada, 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 these would come from there. Or would be a part of that dimension. I hesitate to say location. I don't know what you would call it. I mean, I dimension, I guess you would call it, you know, and so high vibe, light beings, angels of sorts or whatever. And so there seems to be an awareness of that. I don't know how the fuck that works with the like governments being aware of that. I don't know how they become aware of that or what they do with that information. I'm not sure how that works. But I see that as a thing. I'm putting it out there. See it as a thing. I'm putting it out there. Okay. So, we've already got, you know, a couple of things here that have spit out at us and, surprised us a little bit. Just going with it. This card, as an intuitive reader, sometimes with intuitive reading, you see certain elements on cards that sticks out, just like how we saw that there were two angels back to back, and so that stuck out on this card. What is something that sticks out? The fact that the Chariot is being led by two Sphinxes, and the fact that there are a lot of people out there that hear, believe, discuss that the Sphinx and the pyramids and other components of ancient Egypt or other ancient ruins and things like that, that they had some sort of assistance or collaboration with what we would consider aliens, ETs. And people out there believe that. You know, I don't know if I believe that or not. I'm not sure. I would say I don't close my mind off to it. You know, I'd like to keep my mind open to all possibilities, but I can't say I feel sold on it either. Not that I've been, you know, presented with a bunch of compelling evidence. I haven't gone down that rabbit hole for myself. But since that's what I'm seeing here, whatever things may have had some involvement in those ancient structures or in those ancient times, or, you know, if there was anything, any kind of race, alien race, ET population, species, whatever, that did assist humans in those times, it looks like they never really went anywhere in terms of like they still are accessible some sort of a way, and that there would be governments that would be aware of this. I don't know if this is something that there's relationships with. I don't know. They did not give me that in the same way they gave this, so it might just be a, hey, I know of them, but that doesn't mean that we really have interaction. Kind of like, hey, I know of lizards in my front yard. I am aware that I've seen one or two little lizards scurrying around in there. Have I interacted with them in any way meaningfully? No, other than, hey, I'm taking out the trash. Shit, you scared me. Quit running on the fence, motherfucker. You know, that kind of stuff. Outside of that, you know, we have had no meaningful interactions. It could be that with these, the governments have had no meaningful interactions. They're just aware of them. So I'm, again, not trying to insinuate something that's not necessarily what I'm seeing from the cards. I'm only saying what I'm seeing. I'm not squeezing anything else out. All right. This is just a very interesting question, y'all, because wow, we've gone through some stuff on this one. So looking down here, bottom row, this feels this feels even weirder to me. But again, trying to have an open mind, trying to not close any doors on anything, just trying to be open here. But, you know, on this card, we've had a lot of interesting imagery with 3, you know, major arcana cards that stand for certain major big themes, you know, the Lovers, Judgment, the Chariot. Down here, whereas we do have 1 major arcana card, we have these 2 regular old people. And this major arcana card here usually stands for the High Priestess, is kind of like our higher selves, our intuition, the higher form of our own beings, and things along those lines. And with these being regular people cards, I am curious, and I don't even know how this works. So again, when I say I'm just trying to read the cards and interpret them the best I can, and essentially I'm speaking out of my ass on just trying to interpret these things the best I can. That's what it is. But this kind of feels like, I hesitate to say this. I almost kind of wish this part came up in the Perk Squad Extended, so it would be maybe not as public. And I would, because this feels whatever. Let's pretend for a moment that us as people continue to be on this planet, and we continue to learn and grow and hopefully get smarter and evolve and have better technologies over time, and, you know, theoretically and hopefully continue progress of all the good things that we have going for us, all the smart things that we have going for us. Hopefully, you know, those things kind of take a front seat to all the shitty and damaging hell things we have going for us. But let's pretend and say we do that. And over time, we have, like, we and our technology and all of that have evolved into something higher, brighter, whatever, that kind of is able to access things that it used to not be able to access. So you see where I'm going here with this? That there could be some sort of acknowledgement or traces of the government trying to figure that out. Oh, gosh. I don't necessarily want to refer to it as time travel per se, because I think that it's beyond that. I think, because if this is our higher self exists in a place where it's not time travel because time isn't really real or doesn't really exist. You know, it's just kind of everywhere all the time or something like that, something to that respect. And so it wouldn't necessarily be time travel for someone in this space to enter our spaces. It's just that they, you know, are there and they could take note of that. And maybe our governments are aware in some kind of capacity that that is a potential and that exists. And they're trying to figure out how to tap into that or something along those lines. Do you see where I'm going with this? Again, I don't know how to explain this. If, you know, because if, like, I'm irritated at my damn self. If you're mad, like, bitch, just spit it out. Okay, you spit out something on a concept that we have no capacity to understand with our human language right now. That's so far ahead of where we are, you know, evolutionary perspective wise that there's no way to verbalize it coherently, you say it then. And if you can say it, great. You know, I'm not claiming to be the smartest person in the world to be able to do that. I'm just a girl reading cards here, and I say what I see. But I don't always have the easiest time saying what I see. So, but I'm seeing something along those lines too. I don't know what to call that, because like I said, I don't know if that would be considered time travel. I don't necessarily want to call that, but it does look like we are the ancestors of them for this subsect here. Don't know. Take that where you want to take that. That's a headache and a half. And so take that where you want to take that. In terms of these other questions here, what I have people wondering that are these things, any of these things that they know about, are they bad? Are they negative? Are they dangerous, is what someone wrote. Bad/negative/dangerous. They want to know that. And also, people are like, well, what's going to happen now? Like, does that mean people are going to come out with something? What's going to happen now? I also want to get some more insights as to when they were talking about the whole direct knowledge versus indirect knowledge, and how this David guy believes this completely, but is everything that he was told true? So is everything that he said in the interview true? I'm curious about that too. So this is a lot. A lot to look into here, and a lot to kind of still think about for the Perk Squad video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a couple more cards here. I'm going to leave it up to the spirit guides on which one of those that y'all want to answer here. Y'all just please answer one of those questions. The other ones we will put on the Perk Squad extended video. So y'all pick whichever one that y'all want to answer here for public video, and then we'll put those other questions on the Perk Squad extended video. So I'll toss it over to them. And as I get shuffled up, if you'd like to book a private reading with me, then my website is BeasTalksAndTarot.com. You can book a private reading with me. I have, 15-minute options all the way up to 45-minute options. Also have Reiki Energy Healing for people who feel like they need a cleansing, clearing, tune-up, or any kind of insights to kind of mental, physical, spiritual kind of holistic health awareness and things of that nature. I have things on there for people who want life coaching to just get some assistance there, or people that want to learn how to read the cards the way I read the cards. Got that there too. So BeasTalksAndTarot.com for all of that. And yeah, spirit guides, what's the thing that you will let us know here on the public video? Okay, so I see which one they're getting at. Remember earlier, this card came up in the reverse position, like it did here again, about the whole giving information, here's this person feeding these people information, but it's in reverse, the non-directness. So that's what they're wanting to answer here publicly, is about the non-directness. Then we've got David Grusch coming up here. I'm going to say that's how you say his name. I'm sorry. Coming up here in the reverse position. And, my printer decided, can y'all hear that? It's going as I'm literally about to talk about this. It's like it's loud and noisy and kind of doing some like audio interference, so to speak, on me as I'm trying to say this. But David is in the reverse position here, and we've got this fighting kind of card here. This is a conflict type of card. And so dare I say, and again, this is all alleged, just my interpretation, but dare I say, some of what was given to him, not all of it, but some of what was given to him was conflicting information. And he's in the reverse position because, what are you going to do? Like, you're out of the loop on this. You're at a disadvantage here being fed this stuff, not really knowing if you can bank on that or not. And so some of the information that was shared to him, I am not convinced was completely true. So again, I'd have to watch the whole interview to see, and what all did he allege, and then of those things that he alleged, which of those things are true versus which of those things aren't true. You know, that sounds like a whole nother thing in and of itself. Good God. But it looks like some of the information that he received is conflicting information, and he's at a disadvantage. Now, did they share inaccurate information on purpose, or was it an accident some kind of a way, and somebody just got, you know, their wires crossed and they got mixed up? I don't know, but it looks like that's why at the very beginning of this, so this is how this reading on this part is beginning and ending. It began and ended with that question of, is he being truthful or lying? And it's so weird. From the gate, they're like, he believes he's telling the truth. Yes, he's being truthful, but is the information truthful? Maybe not all of it, kind of thing. And so it's so interesting that the question wasn't as simple as, is he telling the truth or lying? Because they're like, yeah, he's telling the truth to the best of what he believes is the truth. But was he fed all the truth? Not exactly. So there's conflicting information. So if we get something conflicting, then that means some of the things are probably true, some of the things are probably not true. And that's so interesting. Okay, here, just one last question here. Anything that we can know about this that would be considered not true? Anything that he said that could be considered not true? Are we going to go there? See, that's like juggling facts. And okay, juggling facts, something that was said out to him, and yeah, dropping the ball on some kind of information and about these extra beings. So it seems like, how do you put this? Let's say, okay, the picture that they're giving me is like whenever you're, you know, in college and you're taking an exam and they have like these true or false questions or something like that. And the questions will be like, you know, so-and-so or such and such is always at the core of this and that matter, true or false. And you're like, oh, true. And they're like, false. It's not always, it's just most of the time. And you're like, oh, you sneaky wordsmith, are you? I see what you're doing here. You know, that kind of a thing where it's like what the premise of what the question was would lead you to believe a certain thing, but then there was a detail spun in that made it not true, you know. And so the way that they're putting this with these pentacles here is that a lot of what he would be saying is truth, but that they threw in, and since this is a 2 of Pentacles and this Queen of Pentacles is holding 1 pentacle, they threw in 1 or 2 details in whatever it was that he said that wasn't true, that and because it's like 1 or 2 details, I'm starting to not feel like that was an accident. I'm starting to feel like it's probably intentional. Like, here, toss this in or whatever. Almost, ooh, fuck. I keep getting these like, kind of things that's coming through. Almost kind of like, you know how people, it's so much easier to like discredit people if you're like, see, but they were wrong on this one thing. Like, people do that to me too. People would be like, oh, you know, in a reading that she does, maybe she's right about like 99% of the things that she says, but she's wrong about 1% of the things. So see, you can't trust her. She's, you know, some fake tarot reader bitch or whatever like that. And it's like, see, people like to take one thing and discredit an entire thing off of one thing. And that ain't how it works. But people like to do that. And so maybe this is a way of being like, hey, if we can weave some form of evidence weakness into this, then that could pop a balloon and could make some people be like, oh, he's another one of those. Never mind this dude, whatever. So there's something to be said about that. There is something to be said about that, which is interesting. I feel like we have so much more to look into. And so those other questions that we didn't get to, I've been going for almost an hour. I have to stop. So I'm going to put those other questions on the Perk Squad extended video. Again, you can be a member of the Perk Squad by clicking the join button or the link in the description box to see that part 2 video if you would like. Obviously, by and large, we answered most everything here. We've gone on for almost a damn hour here. But there's still more to look at. There's so many different nuances here. Wow. I don't even know where to start in terms of thinking about in this, but I'm going to put some sort of little puppy shenanigans here as a B-roll. Like always have, some clips with a couple seconds or minutes of like my puppies doing some dumb shit or things like that. It's funny, bring a smile on your face, end the reading on a high note. So that's what we're going to do. Perk Squad members, meet me over there for the second video. BeasTalksAndTarot.com for anybody that wants a private reading. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We can be kind in the comments, even if we're sharing our thoughts. You can share your thoughts and you can disagree with people politely. So be civil in all your disagreements or anything like that. Be kind to each other. Be kind to the reading. Be kind to me. Please and thank you. And don't be a stranger. Come back and see me, and I will talk at you later. Bye, y'all.